You ever notice something about Sunday dinner? It has greens. You eat greens. You eat macaroni and cheese. You eat cornbread. Did you notice what all of those have in it? Green is for money. Mac and cheese is money. Cornbread, bread is money. So you already eating it, but you just need to focus on the conversation.
Some cash money now.
You know, how you gonna save for the future when all these bills are due right now? I know you heard that saying, you need to save for a rainy day, but how do you do that when it's always rain? Today, we're going to get the answers to those questions and a few more from none other than LaRese Purnell, co-owner of CLE Consulting and Accounting Services right here in Cleveland, and the founder of The Real Black Friday. Living just enough. So if this is your first time tuning into this show, I want to welcome you to Strategic Moves. I'm your host, Ken Dow. This is a place where I bring art, culture, politics, and business all together under one roof. Been doing it for over 20 years in Cleveland, Ohio, and across the state of Ohio, and met some really amazing people along the way. And I want to share some of my experiences and their experiences with you. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell.
My guest on the show today is none other than Mr. LaRese Purnell.
What's going on, Ken?
Hey, I'm doing, LaRese. How you doing?
I'm good. Just glad to be in the building today.
Yes, man. It's a good day. It's a good day, man. We really feel glad about you coming in. I had an opportunity to work with you this weekend with Chantel. You did a podcast with her as well and talked about African-American business. You becoming the voice of African-American business here in Cleveland, man.
I told you, I'm just a small piece to the pie, man. Just doing my part because we have so much work to be done.
Well, so, let's talk a little bit. You're the president and CEO of CLE Consulting Firm, which is located here, and you guys do a lot of consulting work along with auditing and taking care of nonprofits and for-profit business with their bookkeeping and that kind of thing. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So myself and my partner, Meltree Sharp, we founded this organization 5 years ago, just celebrated 5 years.
Okay.
And about 50% of our businesses are large nonprofits. Here in the community, and then we do probably a little over 70 restaurants in Northeastern Ohio, manufacturing, and various for-profit businesses. But for us, it was all about creating something that would help businesses in our community, particularly, to build a strong financial structure or foundation that would help them have the ability to scale or grow.
Now, I looked at your bio, and I want to take everybody back because I want people to get to know who our guest is. So when I first met you, you were working at the Word Church. But before then, tell me, where are you from? Cleveland? Where are you from?
Yeah,
Give me your background.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah,
I had a reporter one time ask me, he said, is this real? Can you have lived in this many neighborhoods in such a short lifetime? And I said, no, that's a dysfunction, unfortunately, and just the struggles of my family.
Okay.
If I think about sixth grade and before sixth grade, I can't remember a friend because we moved so many times throughout the community. So born and raised right here in Cleveland, but I lived in the Virgin Islands.
Really?
As a child. I was born right at the Ronald McDonald House. My mom getting away from some craziness with my father. Went down to the Virgin Islands with her best friend. And we went there, stayed there, and would go back and forth. So I would come back, stay with my grandmother, stay with my uncle, and various family members. So we did a lot of hopping around. Then she came back for a few years. We lived in the Kinsman area. So all my family lived in the Kinsman area from about 140th up to about 147. So I consider that's where I grew up, because that's where all the family stayed. That's where all the entrepreneurs I looked up to had their businesses right in that particular neighborhood. So then eventually, as we got to the later years, I went to Warrensville and graduated from Warrensville Heights High School and then went away to college. But definitely a lover of Cleveland, lover of our community, and just willing to do my part to be a community servant.
All right. And so you got your master's degree from?
Got my MBA from University of Toledo.
Okay.
Came back here. And just recently, I attended John Carroll University, working towards getting another master's in corporate taxation. A few more classes away from it. Business started exploding. Getting a little more difficult to manage my time, but I'm definitely going to finish those couple last classes. It sounds kind of awkward, but I love doing taxes.
Okay.
Some people are like, who loves doing taxes? But I really found that niche that I really enjoyed. Love the research in it. I love having to read and figure out what new codes are out there, because there's thousands out there.
Yes.
They're ever changing. So that's just something I wanted to continue to elevate my skills in.
And that's very interesting because that's a skill and something that a lot of people just don't have. the desire to want to save money, understand money,
Yes.
and understand financing and how it affects you. And I really wish I could have been more like the type of money that came through my hands over the years, man. I sit back some days and be like, oh, I could have been.
Wish you had y'all.
Oh,
Like, I
my
tell people,
God.
I wish I had some of my dumb money back.
Right, right.
If I could have all that back,
Oh,
how much would that
the
be?
dumb money.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
Let's think about that for a second. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I saw you have a son and a
Yes,
daughter, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And any good parent will say that they are truly the rock of my life. My son, Gavin, going away to BG
Okay.
in the fall, graduating, honors, just a good kid, very imperfect kid, but just a good kid.
Right.
And my daughter, Gabby's at Miami of Ohio, and just good kids. I mean,
That's a good school.
Yeah, well-performing, great grades, very active. She just crossed AKA,
Okay.
and he knows which way he better go as a prop man. But no, so it's all good stuff, man. And then just got married.
I was gonna say we were talking about the storybook wedding. I mean, that was like all over social media and all over the place. I was like, wow. I looked, everybody in the world was at that wedding, man. That was a huge wedding. How many people y'all had at that wedding, man?
It probably was right around 1,000 people.
That's what I thought.
It was about 1,000 people because the church fit about 1,300 and we were just about at capacity, so maybe a little over 1,000. But it was my wife's first time being married, and for her, she wanted a big wedding, but I don't know if she thought it was gonna be that big. Neither one of us.
So when is the cutoff? Like, where do you get to like 1,000 people? When you got to like 500, didn't you be like, isn't that like way too many?
So I'm gonna tell you this, and I still have people who see me out and mad because I didn't invite them. When you know a lot of people in the community,
Right.
and I guess I didn't realize how many lives I touched
Wow.
until it was time to get ready for my wedding.
Wow.
So it's funny how it
Right.
takes certain instances
Right.
for that to really occur. I was like, shucks, what about this person, that person?
Right.
And when you run a business
Right.
where I have hundreds of clients,
That's correct.
it's almost an expectation.
Right.
Like I help feed your family, so I know I'll be at the wedding.
Right.
And then she's in the service business,
Right,
so
okay.
she has all these clients. And then we have family.
I got you.
Then we have friends. And it was like, okay,
Wow.
maybe we should go out of town and just say it's going to be us and the kids.
Right. Oh, it was huge, man.
Yeah.
And like I say, straight up storybook. If you're gonna put a storybook on one, that was one. It was like, wow.
Thank
And it was amazing. I
Thank
saw all the pictures and everything, man. It was really beautiful. So your wife's name is?
Rashonda. Rashonda, yes. And she's been in the hair industry for 20 years now.
Okay.
She was on Noble. Now she has place over on Mayfield. And she's blessed. Businesses still booming. Book weeks out. She does a lot of good stuff. And people, she has a heart. She always says, I'm more than just a stylist. When people come in my chair, I'm their counselor, I'm their friend, and all that sort of stuff, especially during this pandemic. So many people have so many challenges, and she does a great job in speaking into women's lives. So I think that attracts a lot of people to her as well.
So I want to get to financial literacy is really important to our community. And so one of the things that I'm really hoping to work out with you is that you come on and even do some episodes with us where you can come in and talk to our audience and people about things they ought to do to help be better stewards about saving money and earning money, even speaking to some of the younger people in that. And the biggest thing I would love for you to help explain to me and a lot of folks in my age bracket, what the hell is this Bitcoin?
Oh,
It's all about cryptocurrency and that, man. So that in itself could be a whole nother episode.
That's a whole couple, about 8 weeks episode. Hey, look, I'm going to say tip first. And don't come talking about you suing me. I gave you some advice. So no,
Yes.
but no, it's all, but you know what, Ken, it is when I'm teaching financial literacy, I get the opportunity last year, even during the pandemic, went to about 12 different cities. I have this new thing now I'm doing at HBCUs. So the last quarter of the year, I hit 5 different HBCUs, and actually I'll be in Southern this year. I'm going to kick it off there, and then I'm going to hit some other universities. But for us, I get up on the stage now, and I have a serious face. I tell people it's no joke about where we're at as a community. This is real business. It's really happening to us. The wealth gap is continuously widening. As you know, we look good, but we not good. Social media is killing us slowly. It's like being in a rowboat with a slow leak and you don't even realize you're drowning because all you see is stuff. So we're chasing stuff versus substance. So for me, it's like I'm out here, really trying to help us grow a strong foundation.
Right.
Because it's like building a house on sand or on cardboard box.
Mhm.
What it's going to do, it's going to collapse.
Mhm.
So if we don't have those foundational principles initially,
Mhm.
then we can't talk about the crypto. We can't talk about
Mhm.
buying the real estate where our business is at. We can't talk about home ownership. If we got bad credit, if we don't have budgeting habits, if we let money, our back door be twice as big as our front door, we got to address those issues initially. And so that's what I'm enjoying talking about. And again, when you see where our white counterparts, $130,000 is their net worth, ours is less than $7,000. And if we continue to go at the rate we're going, it's going to continue to get worse. It's predicted in the next 5 to 10 years, it may be at a negative net worth.
Wow.
So again, we got some work to do. And the last thing I'll say to that, if you can't hear my passion, you hear a lot of people out there talking about we can leave wealth through life insurance. But guess what? If you don't educate our kids, it's like someone going to the NFL and getting a $20 million contract and leave. And then 3 years later, he's in bankruptcy because 85% of people that leave the NFL end up going bankrupt because it was never a money issue. It was an education issue. So again, we keep talking generational wealth. We leave in generational wealth, but we don't talk about the life insurance. We wait till we die to let our kids figure out what to do with it, right?
Right.
So again.
No, and that's real talk. And I'm really glad about that. You're going to the colleges.
Yes.
And you're catching them there because it's coming out of high school. If you're the first to go to college, you're catching them at a really good time because their parents may not have that education or that experience of what you're talking about to teach them the habits. And college is where they get it all. Their mind is wide open. If you catch them there coming out, that way they can start those habits leading into their first career and
That's right.
moving forward.
It changes generations. Think
Right.
about it.
Right.
It's 3 things that kill our kids as soon as they come out of college that they never can come out the hole. One, they get college debt. Right?
Right.
It's like a noose around their necks. It's like an anchor that they can't pick up. Then you have the house. Because you got a degree, you think you're entitled to live in that big house. And
Correct.
just because the bank said yes, don't get excited.
Correct.
And then you have that fancy car because you got to pull
That's
up to grandma in them house.
That's the first.
We all did it. We all there, been there, done that.
Right, that's the
So
first.
now when you put those 3 things into context, their house poor, their student loan poor,
Yeah.
and then their car poor.
Yep.
So then how can they invest? How can they save? There's no margin in their lives to do it. But if I can start them at 18, 19 years old and say, no, you're going to get an 800 credit score. You're going to start saving now. You're going to start investing now. You're going to make sure that you get all the scholarships you can have. So then by the time you leave college, you have no debt. So we start really deductively doing that. It changes the game. I'm telling you.
Oh man, you dropping some serious bombs on it. You're gonna be back.
Yeah.
So much to unpack with you. I'm gonna talk about this real Black Friday. I remember when you first got that idea and you talked about it because remember that was the first thing we talked about.
That's right.
That was the first thing you talked about. Hey, I want to do this real Black Friday, man. And it was the idea, and you said, I got it. And you've been moving right along with that. So let's talk about what was the concept and what was the thing of like, let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I can't believe going into the 8th one in August. I remember talking to you about that with the Congresswoman,
Right.
and she came out to it. And it was just a vision. And I left Detroit. I'll never forget that weekend. Went to teach financial literacy, was at a church in Detroit. And I noticed as I would go teach that the people in the line were entrepreneurs. So something hit me as a financial guy. Well, if we have bad personal finances, guess what? Then we're going to have bad business financial habits. So then will our businesses be able to exist futuristically? It's impossible because it's going to spill over.
Correct.
You know, most business owners struggle with separate their personal checking from their business checking. So
I
again,
totally understand that, man, brother.
yes, sir.
It takes a long time.
It takes discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline for that one.
structure, understanding,
Yes, yes,
education.
yes.
So I came up with that vision. I'll never forget a Monday morning. I remember like it was yesterday, standing in my bedroom on a red chair I had in my bedroom. And I was like, God, he woke me up clear as day. I came back on a Sunday from Detroit. Monday morning, I was off. I sit in that chair. I called my ex-wife at the time. I called her and said, hey, I got this idea. And she said, oh, that's it. That's good. And I said, if I'm crazy, tell me I'm going back to bed. I'm tired anyway. Then I called Greg Beckham
Okay.
from Beckham's B&M,
yeah.
Maisha from New Life Fitness. And I said, guys, I got this idea. And they were like, it sounds good. And I realized, okay, if I'm going to make this thing come to fruition, I'm going to have to do some work. So for literally 14 weeks, people see your glory and don't know your story. 14 weeks, I had a Suburban at the time. I would throw my kids in the back seat every Saturday at 7 a.m. and I wouldn't come home to the evening. I would go out and visit small Black-owned businesses all throughout Cleveland.
Really?
And how I knew it was God, I'm a spiritual man as well. How I knew it was God is when I went to this store on Kinsman and the guy had me come in the back. And I realized when he told me to sit down, I was sitting on his safe. And I'm like, this dude don't know me from Adam, and I'm sitting on his safe. So I said, that showed me there was trust. But the biggest question I got as I was talking to these entrepreneurs, all I was asking is, what do you need to be more successful? What's your biggest struggle? How is it being a business owner? You know, what do you need to go to that next level? And I'm thinking like, I didn't have one resource to help them if they told me what the answer to the question was. All I know is I wanted to help them. I was going to figure it out. And I'm telling you, it was the same thing. Nobody knows I exist. I don't have money for marketing. And the common thing is I wear 10 hats, LaRese. I'm the HR person. I'm the finance person. I'm the salesperson. I'm the marketing person. I'm the cook. I'm the person doing the cleaners. I'm the person doing the car wash. So again, they didn't have the resources and they didn't feel like nobody knew they existed. So for me, did that, and I laugh about it. My daughter remembers it, but we would ride around and she would be like, Dad, what business are we going into now? And she would go in, we would eat, and we would spend money at every business intentionally. But that's how I created it. And then I decided to do an event. I saw the movie Get on the Bus.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? We've been taking our people around the world for generations to the polls. Because I know you've done it before, Ken, for campaigns. Well, why not convert that to businesses? So I'm going to rent some Trailway buses on my own dime, 4 Trailway buses. I'm going to fill them up. I'm going to put a radio personality from Radio 1 on each one of the buses to keep people entertained for 8 hours. And then what we're going to do is go start at a Black-owned McDonald's for breakfast together. We're going to go to shops throughout Cleveland. We'll go have a lunch at Black-owned restaurant, dinner. We'll do the whole day together. And we did that. And when I say the buses were full by the time the end of the day came, we had cars following the buses.
Wow.
So I said, oh, this is an energy. I said, God, you doing something here. And then from there is where you came. And I met the congresswoman at the time, Congresswoman Fudge, and she came to the Word Church. I hosted the first expo. And literally we had probably over 100-something businesses there in the building. I had David Banner here, Jeff Johnson. I remember that. We had Steph Flaw. We had all kind of people there. And we had a good time.
So you went with the name, the Real Black Friday. What sparked the name? Because when you hear Black Friday, everybody think about Black Friday.
That's right.
So what was the Real Black Friday all about?
Because one thing is, it's a play on words. Get it from Jay-Z, double entendre, double meanings. And my thing is, why do we reinvent the wheel? You know, my mentor used to always say to me, there's nothing new that you create, LaRese. You just haven't met the other person who's done it first.
Wow.
And you know, when he said that to me, I said, the Real Black Friday, why would I not just utilize a brand that has been hashtag like crazy by the millions and just add the real to it?
Add the real to it.
Because the real is that we really need help.
So that's what the real.
So that's where the real came from.
Really?
I said the Real Black Friday. It's all about spending money, rotate, because that's what Black Friday is about. Circulating the dollar. But this one is really helping businesses that need help to make sure we circulate the dollar in our community.
So I see a text and I read a strand of people talking, and they were saying, why should we make a big deal out of going to Black businesses? We should be shopping at American business. So you know where this is going. And it should be anybody business. It shouldn't be just Black business. So naturally I chime in and say, because we always shopping at everyone's business. So it would be good to say shop at different type of businesses. And that took me to a place I said, well, let me just get off of here before I wake up tomorrow and my thing is full of all kinds of craziness. What do you say to those people who say that?
Oh,
type
my
of,
Lord.
You know?
So after all of the death threats and nasty emails that I've received, you'll be surprised, especially when the expo comes. I've had to report stuff to law enforcement because I've gotten some you would say, and of course my wife like, okay, I know you said that some people don't agree, but I know at this level.
I thought they just said it.
I just thought it was like angry face on angry emoji. But not like, hey, we need to exterminate this.
Exactly.
Like, you know what? We should challenge ourselves as Black people for why that's even a conversation. Because think about it, they don't apologize when they do the Irish festival.
Correct.
They don't apologize when they do something in Little Italy, when they do something in Asia Town. But when Black folks start to do something, there's a problem.
Right.
It's because we've not stood up for our communities and really collaborated as one together. So now that we're doing it's a problem. Every other culture does that.
Right.
So it's like, again, when I talk about the real Black Friday on TV, people are like, man, LaRese, what's wrong with you? Like, are you an angry Black man?
Right.
And I'm like, well, because I love my community the way you love your community. Why is it different? Because I show my community love and I make them relevant and to really focus in on them because every other community does it.
Right.
So it's no problem when they do it. So based on who responds to me and says something like that, I say, if they're Irish, I say, well, on such and such date in Cleveland, they have the Irish festival. Is that a problem?
Correct.
Is that you being racist or is it just loving your culture? So don't get mad at me for loving my culture. And then we are 400 years in the rear when it talks about wealth.
Correct.
Our people need wealth. And the only two things that's going to create wealth is home ownership and entrepreneurship. So my thing is, I'm not letting off the gas. I'm not letting off the gas. So you can hit me with it. You know what? I understand the only way to really take our community to another level is we got to drive entrepreneurship. And you know this, Kim, growing up in this community, it was the pharmacist, Dr. Green on Kinsman. It was Saks on Kinsman. It was Snack Shack. It was all the different barbershops, all the grocery store owners that look like us. Those were our role models. They were not just a neighborhood. They were the foundation of our community. And because we were desegregated, it changed everything.
So the big thing was you had a lovely and very good time NBA All-Star Weekend. That had to be the height of you doing your Black Friday because that was a huge one for you, right?
Yeah, 57,000 people.
All right. So give me the highlights of that.
So can you imagine? I want you to just close your eyes and imagine this. Walking into the only place attached to the arena. Everything we do is strategic.
Okay.
So every location I do always is very thoughtful. So it was the only location in downtown Cleveland attached to the arena where you had to walk through me. So you had to. So I didn't tell nobody why I did it until I got it. Because I knew everybody was going to say, take that away from him. We didn't think of that. So I made sure the contract was done. Then I said, the reason why I did it, because the Ritz-Carlton was attached to it.
Right.
But all the A-list stars had to walk through.
Had to walk through.
Had to walk through. That's why Dennis Rodman, Dan Gilbert, Flavor Flav, DJ Envy, Drama, all those guys came through. So guess what I did not have to do is bring a celebrity.
Exactly.
Because they was walking through. And guess what? We called them and said, hey, welcome to the Real Black Friday. We had DJ Envy. So no, but just serious though. But imagine 3 floors of a retail mall that has a historic look to it.
That's beautiful.
Wrapped with 225 Black businesses. And over 2 days, we circulated over $600,000 right there in our community. And then on top of that, we had 36,000 people on Saturday and about 21,000 on Friday. And I'll tell you, that ain't no estimate. So I know y'all like he over-exaggerate, but the city of Cleveland, actually DCA gave me that number because they use that artificial intelligence software called Placer AI that pings how many phones are in the building during the time of your event.
Wow.
So those are exact. It wasn't my numbers. They gave them to me. I put out 13 to 15,000. They called to correct me and tell me, no, LaRese, it actually was 3 times that.
Wow.
So again, it showed that one, as a community, there's a new energy. And Ken, when I sit on that stage, man, from a discernment perspective, 7 years in, it was something different. The feel of it, as I looked at the people in the crowd's face, they looked at me like, what's next?
Wow.
It's go time.
Wow.
Because the statistic says more than 50% of Black businesses will be closed post-pandemic. So you got to read that. Think about how many businesses we've seen that's been in this community over 40 years that's closed
right now, right.
post-pandemic. So again, for them, it was like, this was hope. This was like an injection of, hey, it's hope. I got energy. The community supports me. So again, it had a bigger emphasis, but it was the first time an NBA All-Star that they've ever done in 71 years of the All-Star games that they've ever focused on that many Black businesses in one space at one time.
You probably sparked something that they're going to probably be carrying on from city to city. I bet you in the future, you'll be seeing a lot more of that.
And that's always a thing. The best form flattery is repetition. So people say, LaRese, and we gonna talk real, kid. Like, oh man, he always out there, always trying to show his face. He being flamboyant, showing, showing off. But no, I do it because I understand somebody has to be the catalyst, and you can't be the catalyst of something quiet.
That's
Because how do you spark energy for something they don't know exist? So my thing is, if I give something away and then 10 people come behind me and give it away, now 11 people got impacted. But if I never talk about it, then when does it start? So again, not saying that I'm the only person, but I want to be one of the persons that sparks that conversation, sparks that action to help create wealth in this community. I don't know how long I'm gonna be in Cleveland.
Right.
I don't know how long.
Right.
I love this city. I'm gonna give it all I have. I've had some opportunities to leave the city, and I'm just like, man, why won't I leave? So I say, God, is there something here that I won't leave?
Right.
And I think it's just still a lot more work to be
A lot
done.
more work to be done, man. Like I said, you're one of the leading voices as it relates to Black business and the passion and everything that you do. You just start, man. That's why we had a transitioning time in this community, and with the congresswoman, with the mayor, with the new council presidents, the way we do stuff, everything is changing now, man. The people who used to do it ain't the same people who do it anymore.
That's right.
And the way they used to do it ain't the way that you do it anymore. That's why I'm smart enough to sit my little ass in this chair and say, I'm going to start a podcast, because
right.
everybody got to start doing something different, because you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
And you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to the congresswoman. I told her when we did that interview, I said she was one of the first people who attended. The new congresswoman, Chantel Brown. Anytime I called her, she showed up, and she really supported. I'm looking to do some good things and have some good conversations with her, because it's definitely time. Like everything you talked about change, it's time to elevate what we've been doing. We have to build a platform. Now it's time. I tell people the Army's been built. Now it's time to give them the tools to really go after what they need to be successful.
Correct.
So I think that we've been able to do that and really create a foundation. People, again, who know me know I don't do nothing without a thought to it. So my thing is, I've been getting these people's credit together, making sure they have all the financial documents in order. So now they can go to the bank and say, I want that building on Kinsman.
Correct.
I want that building in my neighborhood, or I want to buy my first home, or I want to have 401k with my business, or I want to make sure I build wealth this way for my children. So again, I'm just thankful for her and her leadership and what she's done. And I'm just excited about, it's just a beginning for her. It's just a beginning for her. And I'm excited for what the impact she's going to be able to bring to businesses in this community. So,
That's why I say that's your part.
yeah, that's
Because again, all she could do is bring the resources here. Somebody has to be here to receive them. Somebody has to be here to make sure it's going right. Somebody has to be able to do it. And that's what I said. You got a lot of work to do, because it's all changing now. It's you guys. You guys are rolling into a good position. So, man, I want to thank you again for coming out. I appreciate you coming out. LaRese is going to be a regular on some of our programs to give us some good financial advice. That camera right there belongs to you, man. I'm going to give you an opportunity to close the show.
So everybody listening, this is our time. We've wasted enough years, enough days, enough generations when it comes to wealth. So I want to push you. I'm going to be back on here. I'm going to drop some more information as we move forward. So stay tuned to hear, we go to baby showers, we go to bridal showers, but I want to force you and push you, because I'm going to push you. I'm here to hold you accountable to do money showers, money conversations. Make Sunday the real money talk in your families. Sit down with the children after you have dinner. You ever notice something about Sunday dinner? It has greens. You eat greens. You eat macaroni and cheese. You eat cornbread. Did you notice all of those having it? Green is for money. Mac and cheese is money. Cornbread, bread is money. So you're already eating it, but you just need to focus on the conversation. So again, let's make that the new table talk in our community and within our families. And I promise you, that'll be the first step to building a strong foundation in our families.
Reese was here dropping bombs, y'all. Good program.